The Jets have fired Robert Saleh.
Caught the entire NFL world by storm.
This is an overreaction to what the last 2 weeks have looked like.
This is probably the best team I've had in 25 years. I just felt that the best way to go forward is with a new direction.
Offensively, it hasn't materialized to what they thought it would be. And Robert, he's paying the price for it.
Has to be something behind the scenes.
Well, I did talk to him the night before, but we didn't discuss this.
I resent any of those accusations because they're patently false.
We've seen other interim head coaches go on to have successful runs, and that's exactly what the Jets are hoping to do.
Breaking news here on NFL Live with the Jets. Nathaniel Hackett, no longer the Jets play caller. Todd Downing is taking over that role as the passing game coordinator. This just a couple days after they fired head coach Robert Saleh. Here's more from the interim head coach, Jeff Ulbrich, and the Jets today.
It was obviously not necessarily a shock, but like we all are familiar with the relationship he has with Nathaniel, and they're very, very good friends that go back a long way. So he understood the decision and he was supportive of the decision, and I'm fortunate for that. So I talked to him. I talked to a lot of different offensive players and defensive players for that matter.
And I knew there'd be changes after they let Robert go. Had conversations with Brick over the 2 days. I knew that he was thinking about it, leaning toward it, and I told him I'd back him up whatever he decided. I love Nathaniel. I mean, he's one of my dearest friends in the league, and obviously a tough situation, but I think it speaks volume to the character that he has, that he wanted to stick around, be here for me, be here for Todd, support Todd. So it's credit to the man that he is.
Yeah, the Jets have not said exactly the role that Nathaniel Hackett will play now. Adam, how did the Jets come to the decision, though, to hand over the play calling duties to Downing?
Laura, when change comes, it usually keeps coming. And this week we saw the Jets change head coaches, and I'm sure part of that plan was the idea that they would transition from Nathaniel Hackett as their offensive coordinator to Todd Downing, their pass game specialist, as the new offensive play caller. They felt that this offense needed a spark, and needed a spark in the worst way. You're talking about the 32nd ranked rushing offense in the NFL. Last in the league with Breece Hall, with the running backs that they have in their backfield right now. And so they felt like they had to do something to shake it up. And when you heard Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show, you could tell by the way that he was talking that they were getting ready to make a change. He knew a change was coming because he said that whatever they decide to do, I support. Now, why would you be saying that in relation to the offensive staff? It was obvious that this was coming. It was made official today, and they will hope that that jumpstarts the offense on Monday night in a game that if the Jets win, they will be in first place.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good reminder, just the stakes of this game and how they're very much still in the race there. We welcome you to the show here. Dan's here, Mina, Marcus, and Ryan, of course. And Dan, I'll start with you. With Todd Downing.
Wave.
Now taking over the play calling duties, how do you expect the offense to actually change?
A ton more motion. That's one of the things that many of us have complained that has not been a part of this offensive football team. I also do think that this move signals that it's not just what Aaron wants and it's not just the Aaron Rodgers show, because if that was the case, then this move would have never happened. So definitely a ton more pre-snap motion. I think there'll be a better understanding or a better planning of, hey, we're going to run this formation and then this play, and then we're also going to have two or three things more off of it that look the same. I don't expect this football team offensively to come the San Francisco 49ers or Detroit Lions when it comes to that stuff. But I think more motion use will help. I think more play action use will help. It's not going to be completely different because you still want Aaron to be comfortable with what you're doing. But I do think there's going to be a morphing of both those systems and Aaron's desire to kind of play the style that he wants.
They got to find a way to be less predictable. And I'll focus on the run side of that because this has been really one of the biggest disappointments of the season is how bad they look running the football. We all saw Breece Hall's talent on display earlier in his career. But when I watch him run, it feels like every defense they play is just all over every run before it can even get going. In fact, the Jets are dead last in yards before contact per carry. There's a few reasons for that. One is the run blocking, which hasn't been good, but I would argue some of it also is the types of runs and the tendencies. When the Jets have three wide receivers on the field, they have the second highest pass rate in the NFL. They barely run the ball. They are much more likely to run the ball with 2 tight ends, but the problem is they're terrible at running the ball with 2 tight ends. Dan's talked about this, how bad the tight ends are at blocking. So that, to me, is something they could mix up in terms of the personnel groupings that they're running out of. Another thing is, I think we think of Breece Hall coming out of Iowa as this, Iowa State, as this zone running back, but the zone runs in particular from the gun are just not working this season. In fact, when they have run power, duo, it's actually been much more successful with Hall, almost twice as efficient. So I think they can mix that up as well, but they've got to find a way to make defenses less clued into what they're doing on the ground.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers said that Nathaniel Hackett is one of his dearest friends. I've actually talked to Nathaniel Hackett, got to spend a little bit of time with him. He is really an awesome dude. He's fun to be around. Fun and friendship don't win you football games. And that's what Jeff Ulbrich is tasked with doing right now. And Nathaniel Hackett said he'll stay there and he'll support. He has to, because nobody else is about to give him a job based on what he did in Denver and what he was doing with the New York Jets. You heard about the predictability of this offense. There are some times that you can cut on the tape and you can look at different teams versus the Jets offense. And if you didn't see the color of the jersey, it would look like the exact same play that you saw the week before. The exact way the defense played it, the same thing that the New York Jets ran, from a formation, from a personnel down to the play. And they have to find something different. They have to be less predictable. And I think the first move toward that is now having Todd Downing as the offensive coordinator instead of Nathaniel Hackett.
I'm so fortunate we get a chance to go Monday night, RC, and all of us. I know we'll be watching in New York, but I'm just interested in the psyche of this football team. When you think about it from an offensive standpoint, yeah, it's great to make an offensive change philosophically. Where will you go if you have success? It was obviously the right call. If it doesn't go right, what's next? And I think that's what this season is going to be about for the Jets. Like, this has to work now. This is 2 coaching positions that have changed for this football team. And all we hear is a new energy, a new way to play. And that's supposed to be the example. I want to see, because I think now Aaron Rodgers' leadership will be on full display, whether it's going good or whether it's going bad with the changes that take effect in the building. I'm interested to see this team respond Monday night to newness around their facility.
Yeah, and Marcus, to your point, we'll all be there. NFL Live will be there at 3, so we'll be the first show to come on the air in talking about that and everything we gather before this Jets-Bills game.